From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go with that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more checks from those Democrats. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. This is the single biggest payout that Americans have seen in recon packages. And I have all the incredible details about all these checks coming to you in this fourth stimulus recon. Then we cut to the final 15 minutes of this video with the bills, the votes, and what's happening. One bill will go to a vote tomorrow. What does that mean for our money? I have all the breaking details in the final 15 minutes of this video. Then we cut to the big money, a fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. And what did the breaking news say about that today as well? I have it in this video additionally. And then we cut to the big money that viewers are getting, as one viewer got overnight $50,000 from watching these videos. I'm going to show you how to get this big money for rent, food, and internet and more. You're never going to see money like this until you watch it here on Noontime. And that show, this show, starts right here, direct from Santa Monica, live on air, starting right now. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful week. Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. But stay with me this weekend because there's going to be dramatics. Congress will be in session this weekend. There'll be voting. There'll be passage of bills. And you don't want to miss a single minute. So stay with me all weekend long. Don't cash out and come back on Monday and say what I missed, because you're going to miss everything. So I look forward to seeing you on Saturday and Sunday. How's the weather where you are? It's beautiful here. It's paradise today. It's onshore breeze, not too hot. A little bit of onshore haze, so keeping a little bit of the sun away. It's perfect. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from at noontime and how's the weather. We're going to go over that first stimulus check and why you're likely to get more checks from those Democrats first. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. The Democratic senators have agreed to give you a $3.5 trillion recon stimulus package. And this is a fortune of checks. You are going to see fortunes, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of checks coming to you under this fourth stimulus recon. Then we cut to the bills, the vote, and what's happening tomorrow. They'll be voting tomorrow, and I'll go over what that means for you, the progression, who goes first, who goes second, and everything you need to know across the board. Then we got to fifth stimulus, was raising your benefits up, and the non-payroll numbers came in from Wall Street. How strong was the number? What does that mean for inflation? And finally, we cut to the big money across the board that viewers continue to get, but if you didn't catch it on Mornings LA, here's the breaking news. Oh my goodness. Mark got $50,000 from watching this channel for $25,000 for rent, $6,500 for utilities, $19,000 for SNAP. He says he's telling everyone to watch this channel and watch me right away because this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week. Financial News Channel America, live in the morning, like right now, and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock, the Throwback Show. This video will automatically take you there. Then the new Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock. Then Evenings LA at 5. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. People are getting fortunes from this channel like nowhere else on the planet. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. And thank you for nearly 200 new members and Purple Hawks in 24-hour period just one day ago. Let's get into that monthly stimulus check starting right now. House versus Senate, Senate versus House. Really fascinating. Number of checks and amount of payment. Let's go over the details starting right now. House, $1,000 after the first, House, I'm getting to the money right away. First, let's go over the number of checks. House, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus check. That means that you would get a check every month plus the pandemic. Senate, July to December. Let's go over the monthly payouts now. Here we go. $1,000 after the first month for the House, $2,000 initially. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, the pandemic is far from over. And now we're dealing with not just the pandemic, but Lambda and Delta Plus. And that means that House bill would pay you pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 1 year of checks, which would be more than 12 checks. And that House, more than 12 checks, would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather at noontime with you right now. Who gets us fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that. If you got a third, you're getting a fourth. Single individual, 75,000 less. Democrats represent you're getting a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 less. Democrats represent you're getting a fourth stimulus check. Family of four. Democrats represent you're getting a fourth stimulus check. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent you're getting a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. And the fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for adults and adult dependents. I was at the beach a week ago, maybe it's 2 weeks ago, and I was recording live on air. I think I'm going to do it again this week, and I love doing that with you. And one of the viewers said, "Hey, LA, is that the check behind you on the beach?" I said, "No." "Oh, it is. Hey, check." And then the viewer said, "LA, wave at the check." I said, "Really? Really? Okay, I'll wave at the check." "Hey, check, how you doing?" Didn't wave back at me. "Rude check," I said to the viewer. The viewer said, "No, LA, it's not a rude check. It's just not a waivable check. I watch your shows." Yeah, the fourth stimulus check is not waivable. But in the second half of this video, we'll be going over the exciting great details about the $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you. This is the single biggest payout we've had ever, folks, in the history of this channel. We've had stimulus packages before, but nothing like this. This is $3.5 trillion coming to you. When we had third stimulus, I said $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 months from now. We ain't going to say $5,000 for this fourth stimulus. We're going to be seeing a lot more because it's $3.5 trillion. In the second half of this video, we'll go over all the details of that recon. Then, in the third part of this video, we'll be going over the voting. Yes, they're doing voting on Saturday. They're doing voting on Sunday. Which votes, what amendments, how are they doing the amendments, everything you need to know, all the dates, everything across the board. It's covered in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to that part. You can see new stuff you've never heard before about what they're amending and what they're not amending, how they're voting. It's a little bit complicated, but I'll make it simple and breezy, easy breezy for you. Then we'll be going over fifth stimulus. And boy, there was new economic data came in this morning. The non-payroll numbers came in, 1 million people. Wow, big economic numbers. How does that impact your fifth stimulus? Is coming up later in this video. But first, let's get some money. Get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to get you some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And when I first said I can get you rent, I said I can get you about 4 to 6 months of rent, which I said was about $5,000. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I can't get you $5,000 of rent. But I can get you $27,000 of rent. Wow, Elizabeth, congratulations. Mark got $25,000. Nancy got $24,000 of rent. From watching this video, being a subscriber, being a member, being part of the Purple Power community, this is success, deliciousness. Richard, $22,000, $20,000 for Nisi underneath the graphic. Also not on the graphic, other people who have done really great things in the last few days. Pamela got $12,000 of rent. Carla got utilities and rent. Tiffany got $13,000 of rent and other items. Randy got $6,000 for rent and utilities. Jennifer got $5,000 for rent and other items. And Cecilia got other monies as well. Well, when I was talking about utilities, I said I can get you $300 of utilities. Again, I was wrong. I can't get you $300 of utilities, but I can get you $7,000 of utilities. Nancy, incredible, killing it. Mark, $6,500. Angela, $5,000. And SNAP, I said $5,000 to $6,000 a SNAP. I can get you. SNAP is food. I said, $5,000 to $6,000. That's what some viewers are getting. I can get you that. Well, guess what happened? Bam! Louis, $18,000. Mic drop. John, $10,000 to $12,000 for SNAP. Nancy, $5,000. Incredible. And then came this. Viewers who got multiple sums of money. They got rent. They got utilities. They got 3 items or they got 2 items. Are you ready? Here we go. Wow, Nancy, $32,000 as a viewer of this channel, as a Purple Hawk, as a member getting 3 items. Mark, the other Mark, getting $32,000. And Nisi getting $23,000 from 3 items. And we weren't done then yet. This morning, this came in from Mark number 2. Oh my goodness. Are you speechless like I am? Yes. Mark number 2 got $50,000 from being a viewer of LLA, being a Purple Hawk, being a member, watching the videos, and learning. He understood that there's a stimulus check of $1,400 in the spring. Who cares about $1,400? I want that $50,000 LA's telling me about, and he got it. $25,000 of rent. He got $6,500 for utilities. He got $19,000 of SNAP, and he says he's telling all his neighbors to watch me religiously because this is where people get money, and this is LALATE. Here we're cashing checks, enormous checks. In spring of last year, people weren't getting their EIDL loans approved. They weren't getting their EIDL grants approved. I stepped in and I got viewers the biggest payout anywhere in the globe for EIDL. $25 million of EIDL loans were approved because people watched my videos and I handheld them through the process. Save their businesses' homes, their employees' homes, and more. Then in fall of 2020, people were not getting second stimulus checks. It was not coming. But I said, I'll get you some rent. And I got viewers $250,000 of rent. Tyrone, his family, out of Boston, got $15,000 paid, all the rent to the spring. And then now it's you. We've never seen numbers like this. It's incredible. So get in pen and paper ready because it's your day to get this big money as well. We're going to get some rent, utilities, food, internet, and more. We're going to reach out to different places with different eligibility. Each has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. Also, they all have their own pots of money, separate and apart. Listen to the keywords I'm about to say. Viewers say it's critical to helping them get it approved. Here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. You're not going to say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's delicious lobster. It's not delicious. It's like $12 ice cream. And congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money for rent and utilities. If you got rent and utilities as well, post in the live chat right now. Let's get to SNAP. And yes, Mark II got $19,000 for SNAP. Louie, $18,000. Lynn Glenn got it for herself and her son, and her mom, Gail, got it as well. Let's go over the SNAP. What is it? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A lot. What is the eligibility? It's easier than a stimulus check. Why would you not get it? And how much does it pay? A fortune. A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Wow, why so much money? Because 2 executive orders, one from Biden and one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it, and we're killing it. We are only 12 minutes into this video. We've gotten $27,000 for rent, $18,000, $19,000 for SNAP, $8,000 for utilities, and we're just getting started. If you understand what's going on here, this is what's going on. Financial freedom is about getting your bills paid. You may have rent, utilities, a car note, bank note on a car you can't pay, and also a dental bill, a dentist bill you can't pay. Guess what? The federal government's not going to pay the dental bill, and the federal government is not going to fix the car in the drive or fix the roof on the and the tiles on the roof. But the federal government's going to pay the rent, and they're going to pay the utilities, and they're going to pay the SNAP. So if you got $27,000, $30,000, $50,000 of your rent and utilities paid, then you have money to fix the car or pay the note on the car or pay the roof. That's what financial freedom is. Get the big sums of money to pay those other bills, and then you don't have to sit around saying, what day are they calling the vote on an amendment? You need to get the big sums of money, and it starts right now. Let's cut to the next pot of the money, and the next pot of the money is the refund check coming back from your states. This is the state unemployment benefit check due to computer error. It's landed by direct deposit. How do you track it? Contact your state. Say, hey, state, where's that check due to overpayment of unemployment with a computer error? And can you track it with a computer that's actually turned on? It just sort of helps. And then finally, the last, one viewer got $3,000 for this, another viewer got $5,000. The last pot of the money is the refund check coming back from IRS for that 2020 return. And Mark II got this as well. I think he got about $1,400. Gail got it. Margaret got it. Cod got it. And Michael got it. Now, this is a waivable check. Sorry, Mitch. Yeah, this is a waivable check. And IRS gives us an update about this waivable check. It's coming in waves, a new wave every week. The latest wave, it was $1,265. Wow. Direct deposits start July 4th, and mail checks July 16th, a new wave every week. Now, before we continue with that waivable check, here's a personal message. If you're on the live chat, and you haven't posted your success for rent, utilities, or mortgage or homeowner's assistance, I don't care if you got $1 or $100, your success. Do it right now. When you do it, you're helping other people, because that's the spirit of the channel. Me helping you, you helping other people. 3 magical things happen when you post your success story in the live chat. Number 1, you inspire people to go get the money. The more they see people getting big sums of money, or any sum of money, then they realize, wait a second, I should be getting that money. I should be getting that money. If all these people are getting money, I will go get it. Number 2, if they see people getting multiple sums of money, like Art Sullivan, who got 3, and Nisi, who got 3, then it inspires them to go get 3. Nancy got 3 shortly thereafter. And you see Mark with 3 items, bring it to 50,000, inspires people to go get multiple items. And then finally, it updates us about the numbers. And we may have thought that the utilities was only $1,000 or $300. Like I said, I was wrong. So how much is the unemployment benefits going to come back? Let's go over the analysis. Let's say $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search, and it will reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid about 70% of the time. It also reveals stuff you never knew. Like when Mitch was on Star Search, did he do the Macarena? And then finally, it'll reveal the refund check you're getting back from IRS. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus check update, starting right now. Done deal. The Democratic Senate caucus has met twice in the last week and agreed to pass the recon. $3.5 trillion price tag. This is great news because all they have to do is just basically finish it and get it done. $3.5 trillion are coming to you. This is a historic day because guess what? When we're talking about $5,000 or $10,000 that viewers got for this channel from first stimulus, and then $15,000 that they got from second stimulus, and now $50,000 they got from third stimulus, imagine the money you're going to get with a $3.5 trillion stimulus package. It's incredible. Great news. This is the recon. How did they do this? Originally, the recon before July 4th was not passable because Leader Schumer said to you, we're going to vote for, get it to law by July 4th. He couldn't because it had roads and bridges in there. So once they shrunk the recon, took the roads and bridges out and put it into something called the bipartisan, the recon became passable. And the bipartisan is passable as well. Confirmation comes from conservative publication that reports the same as what I'm saying. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, roads and bridges, and put it into the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. But it's also vice versa. The recon made the bipartisan passable, and they're both being passed by the August recess. Now, how did they do this? Once the Democrats had shrunk the recon, they blew it out a little bit more and brought it to a big number. And that big, wonderful number with so much money for you is the $3.5 trillion. This is absolutely incredible. And this is what they wanted. Ilhan Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, progressive, said we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion. And Representative Richie Torres, Democrat, New York, progressive, said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion. And perhaps the Progressive Caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure the recon went big and bold enough. How did they do this? They were protecting the recon. The president had told the progressives, protect my recon. Why? Because everything in there is checks for you, progressive checks. And the White House's statement to them was confirmed by Brian Schatz. The White House said the progressive priorities in the recon are the White House's own priorities. So what is a recon? How does it get written? When is it voted on? Who writes it? When do we see it? Let me go over all the details, starting with the terminology. On this channel, I refer to your money as the recon. That's easy breezy. And I refer to the roads and bridges as bipartisan. That's easy breezy. But yesterday, one of my favorite on-air anchors, Ross Sorkin, who I adore, said, well, what do you think about the $3.5 trillion infrastructure? No, that's the bipartisan. That's not the that's not the recon. The recon's $3.5 trillion. The infrastructure's 1.4 or something. So broadcast media is getting the terminology confused. So I want you to know the terminology. So if you do turn on the TV and you hear something, you realize, No, they got confused, just like LA told me, watch it, they're going to get confused. So let's go over the terminology first, recon and bipartisan. First, recon, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill. Price tag, 3.5 trillion. People quote an article about it like a Bernie, a Nancy, or an AOC. Bipartisan, not your money. This is the roads and bridges, also called infrastructure. People quoting an article about this, a Kristen Sinema, a Ron Portman, or a Mitt Romney. Okay, that's pretty easy when it's explained. Let's go over who writes the recon. The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. I have to repeat something very, very obvious, but because we're getting close to the finish line, I want to repeat it to you. You will not see a single Republican vote in favor of the recon. That's expected. We don't need them to pass the recon. So they are not going to vote in favor of the recon. So don't be a high alarm because all the Democrats say they are. All right, so who writes the recon? It's written by House subcommittees, which is not a lot of people. I'll discuss that in the third part of this video. Stay to the final 15 minutes. It's very important. Those House subcommittee members write it. Under the Constitution, they're delegated different subject matters based upon the subcommittee. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for stimulus checks. They're also responsible for unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done, they send their pages that they wrote up to Chuck Schumer. Let's say it's 10 subcommittees with 10 pages. They send them up to Chuck, and he combines it 100 pages, and he puts a big S on it for sugar-coated, salty, seductive, Schumerish, Laverne and Shirley. No, Senate, and that's your recon. Until we have that bill, we have an emoji. No bill yet, not bill yet. Use that emoji in the live chat because guess what? It's very important. We don't have the recon. And so if someone says, I haven't heard of, guess why you haven't heard? Because we haven't seen the recon. There's constitutionally no requirement for those subcommittees to show you what they're writing, what they're not writing, what they're taking in and what they're taking out. They don't have to show you. And guess what? When that recon gets debuted, then that's not the final law either. In fact, we have an emoji for that. Not law yet. It's a week like this that you have to remember how we started and how we ended. We started the week with saying, you know what, there's no eviction moratorium. It's gone. And you could have sat back and done nothing. You could have sat back and said, I'm going to mope. I'm done. Never was going to happen. Didn't happen. And you could have sat back and said, well, the president said he's not going to do the eviction moratorium because the court's not going to support it, which is what he said. You could have sat back and done nothing. Instead, some people didn't. Nancy, AOC, Jalopal, and Representative Bush for the 1st District of Missouri, St. Louis, progressive. She did something like a Purple Power would do it. She sat on Capitol Hill and said, no, you're wrong. You got to do it. You got to do it. You're wrong. You got to do it. And for 3 days, it wasn't done. And then suddenly the president changed his mind and said, nope, I'm extending the eviction moratorium. I don't care about the courts. Wow. That is what we talk about with legislation. And we're going to talk about in the third part of this video. How did we get to this wonderful spot? By Jalopal, who recently wrote Schumer a letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. Well, guess what? He's calling the vote on the recon. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of the 100 who recently wrote the president letter saying, we're putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Wow, now that's incredible, great news. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee recently wrote the president letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the recon when we write it. Whoa, the people who are writing the recon, yeah, they represent, they're putting monthly forced stimulus checks in there. Wow, Purple Power, you got to keep these people to their promise. Push, 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 Purple Power. Can we top that? We can. As Biden did it, a international treaty has been signed into law just a few days ago, but you saw him do this ceremonial signature about 6 weeks ago. What is this for? It's for a confusing thing that did not belong on the recon. And it's great news for the recon because a confusing thing should not be in there. What is it called? It's an exhaustive thing that just is a tongue twister. It's called the Global Minimum Corporate Tax Rate Minimum. I'm exhausted just saying it. I'll be back in a while, half an hour. I'm going to go take a nap. It's just exhausting. It shouldn't be mentioned anywhere. Not even here. And now it's great news because it's not in the recon. Number one, easier to write the recon because it's not in there. Easier to call the vote on the recon because it's not in there. Easier to vote on the recon because this confusing thing is not easy in there. And easier to pass the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. And can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, we go over all the breaking news as one of the two pass is going to a final Senate vote tomorrow. But what does that mean for us? I have all the details coming up. I'll explain it easy breezy so you understand. We'll go over the recon and why it's getting modified. We'll go over what Nancy's doing and what Shaka's doing. And then we'll go over the amendments and everything you need to know across the board. But something more wonderful and deliciousness is the volunteers. If you have problems with rent, utility, food, or internet, and you can't find it, always try first to get it. But if you can't find it, don't worry. The volunteers will help you. Where do you find them? Open the description of this video. Find that link to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. Has a picture of some kitty cats, not the volunteers. And lower on the page, the volunteers are separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them to help you get that big money. And I'll be back with you in just 60 seconds as Noontime LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LALATE as a big breaking news development is unfolding with the voting process. I'll have all that in the final 15 minutes of this video. Also coming up is fist stimulus. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss a single video. There's things changing by the minute. And all weekend long, stay with me because if you come back on Monday, you're not going to be able to catch up. It's going to be too much breaking news over the weekend. They will be in session and they will be voting. Also, like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to the Afternoons LA show at 1 o'clock. This video, when it's over, within 6 seconds, just put your hands up. It'll take you automatically there. But first, let's go over what the president did and didn't do since the campaign trail. When running for president, the president said he was going to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI and VA benefits. He didn't. Then during the transition papers, he said he was going to do it again. He didn't. So guess what? The Democratic senators and the Democratic House members are stepping up for you, and they're taking care of it. When? In what's called fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall. In fact, we're nearly 30 days away from potentially starting to see the drafting. Fifth stimulus starts drafting approximately September and then goes to a vote about November. This is the SSI reform that he promised you. The Democrats vowed they're putting it in there. And they're going to get it to a vote by about November, hit your bank account by November, and then the benefit lift for next year with the benchmark hitting in December. First, they're going to raise your benefit limits up. Then they're going to remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. Who's this for? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries, this will be for you. First step, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. When? In December. What will it be? Inflation. Where is inflation going? It's going to be transitory, says Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. What does that mean, transitory? It means it's going to be a temporary spike. When? Exactly in December. Yes, right when they apply your benchmark. So how high is inflation going? I've been reporting for a few weeks. I think it's about 5%. Wall Street's agreeing, but it could be higher based upon today's numbers. The non-payroll numbers came in today. They were absolutely through the roof. Great numbers. Increased by 1 million for the month, while unemployment dropped to its lowest level since the start of the pandemic, 5.4%. This was the best payroll increase since August 2020. And the unemployment rate is now at 5.7, is now tumbling. The unemployment rate has tumbled from pandemic highs of 14.6. It was 3.5 when the pandemic hit, but now it's at its best level ever. So we see an enormous improvement in this economy. There was less than 2 million people on long-term unemployment, we learned yesterday. Not many people unemployed anymore. And enormous growth in this economy, that signals inflation. So let's go over the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. And that benchmark potentially will be 5%, which will raise your benefits up another 5%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll have a stimulus check and maybe some muddled, did you call this muddled? Some purple in your hand. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. And you'll be able to do a pair dance like Rob and Sandy at their wedding. No longer fear a loss of benefits, and your benefits will be restored. And that's fifth stimulus. There'll also be a fifth stimulus check they represent next year as well. Meantime, if you're in the live chat and you're not a Purple Hawk, what are you doing? Join as a Purple Hawk right now. The link is under the video where it says join here. Purple Hawks are getting fortunes for this channel. Let's recap why this is so important to understand. When second stimulus was passed and there was a $600 stimulus check in fall of last year, I said, do not focus on what day you're getting a $600 stimulus check. I said, focus on getting $6,000. And that's why Tyrone got $15,000 in December from this channel. He didn't focus on when he was getting a $600 stimulus check. He focused on getting $15,000 and he got it. Then in spring of this year, I told the Purple Hawks, Hawk, don't focus on what day you're getting in the mailbox a $1,400 stimulus check. Focus on getting the $14,000 or more dollars you can get from third stimulus. The videos I made at the time, the expression I used was not $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, not 5 days now, not 5 weeks now, not 5 months now. And Purple Hawks focused that why am I tracking a $1,400 stimulus check when I should be getting $10,000, $20,000? And now you see how they're succeeding. They're getting $18,000 for SNAP, and they're getting $7,000 for utilities. They're having $32,000 of their bills being paid for the federal government. They're getting $50,000 of their bills being paid for the federal government. They're having $27,000 of their rent being paid. This is how you use information to get financial freedom. Holding up a calendar and looking at a calendar does not create financial freedom. Getting checks that are available for you is the way. Daily, I deliver to you a breakdown of all the big money that's available from the packages. It's sent to you by the community page, written by me personally, by YouTube, through the YouTube platform, daily through the community page. Read that and learn about how you can all get this incredible sums of money. Consider becoming a member right now. And with that, let's cut to the breaking news of the Final 15, starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. You just saw how viewers were making $20,000, $30,000 off the third stimulus recon. Well, the fourth one is nearly 300% bigger. Imagine the amount of checks I'm going to get you under the fourth stimulus recon. Bernie Sanders fought a generation to get this money. You should be celebrating because this is a categoric, massive payday that's coming to the American people. I have some of the checks that are in this incredible recon. And it's a done deal because the Democrat caucus has met twice. They're doing it. They're doing it, and they're doing the price tag. All of the Democrat caucus members, senators. So here we go. Checks for free school meals off. Checks for tax breaks. Checks for cheaper prescription medication. Checks for immigration reforms. Checks for farming. Checks for elections. Checks for free internet. Also checks for free energy. Here come checks for my seniors and checks for my workers. First for my workers. Checks for workers. Checks for independent contractors. Checks for collective bargaining. Then checks for my seniors. Checks for hearing care. Checks for vision. Checks for dental. And also checks for seniors across the board. Let's cut over to the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. All right. So the bipartisan roads and bridges bill was introduced to the Senate floor on Monday, and they've been voting on amendments ever since. Most of them have fallen to the wayside, thank goodness. Most of the amendments would try to kill the bipartisan. You didn't want that to happen because the president says he has to have both of them. And so what are they doing now? They have one amendment that may still wrangle them a little bit, which is something for the defense spending and the VA. But they were supposed to get the final bill vote on the roads and bridges done last night, Thursday night. They did not get it done. So it will be this Saturday. The final bill vote on the roads and bridges, the bipartisan, will be in the Senate on Saturday. And the reason why they're not doing it today, the reason why they didn't do it yesterday, is because they're dealing with a funeral of a senator. They all have to fly out of town to attend the funeral. I don't know if the funeral is today or tomorrow. So the final vote on the roads and bridges will be Saturday in the Senate. That's not the final vote for it to become law, just the final vote in the Senate. Now, step back for a second. I know you're talking about and thinking in your mind which goes first, which goes second. Here, what I want to dissect for you is there's different places where things go first and things go second. And the Senate is not the priority. The House is the priority. Let me explain to you what's at issue. The most important issue is that two pieces of legislation land on the president's table for him to sign them together, not one piece of legislation. And the president confirms that in a recent statement, saying, you do not just send me the bipartisan or I'm throwing it away. I have to have the bipartisan and the recon both on my table at the same time. So he says the following. As to the bipartisan, if only the bipartisan comes to me and that's the only one that comes to me, I'm not signing it. They have to come to me in tandem, recon and bipartisan. He also says, I'm not saying the bipartisan and forgetting about the rest, I propose the recon. I propose a significant other piece of legislation, and they're both important to me, recon. All right, let's go to the next step before that, which is how do they both land with him? The key person and the key place is Nancy Pelosi and the House of Representatives. That's the number one most important part of the equation. What does this look like? It's the reverse of 2020. In 2020, Nancy constantly was passing laws in the House, like the HEROES Act, which was going to give you fortunes. Sent it to Mitch in the Senate, and he said, here's the wastebasket. I'm never calling for a vote. He never called any of Nancy's stuff for a vote. He has that authority. He never called a vote. People shouting, said, call for a vote. No, I'm not. And so guess what Nancy has said over and over again? I'm not calling the roads and bridges for a vote if it lands in the House first or by itself. You have to send me the recon first or with the bipartisan. Otherwise, the bipartisan is going in the garbage can. So that is critical because obviously it won't go anywhere, the bipartisan, unless the recon lands with it. And we had that confirmation from Nancy in a recent quote. Bertie went to meet her just about a week ago to confirm that her position had not been changed, and it had not changed. She said, before that, as I said, there won't be a bipartisan unless we have the recon bill in the House first. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we have the recon bill passed by the United States Senate first. All right, so then let's go to the then also Jolipal said the same thing. So Jolipal, remember, she's in the House, and she says House Democrats are not passing the bipartisan unless they have the recon as well. We did a poll of our House members, Democrats, and the overwhelming majority said they're not voting for the bipartisan unless they have the recon as well. So that's very easy. It's done. It's simple. Nothing for you to worry about. Let's go back now into the Senate. There's some people who are being a little bit uptight about when things are called for a vote in the Senate. It's not an issue because it's the House that's the issue, not the Senate. Yeah, we would like to see the recon go first to the Senate, and Chuck Schumer said it was going to go first to the Senate. It doesn't make a difference for anything if it goes second because it's the House that's the important thing. All right, so let's go over how they're doing the voting. So the roads and bridges will go for a vote on Saturday in the Senate. This will approve it in the Senate. It may or may not leave the Senate yet, but it will be approved in the Senate, presumably on Saturday. The Republicans and the Democrats both agree that the recon then starts the discussion immediately right after that. How soon? It could be Saturday. You could see the recon bill as early as Saturday. What will be the next step? The next step on the recon will be votorama, and this actually saves us time. The Senate votorama will start on the Senate side, not last, but first. A 2-day wrangling where they propose amendments and changes things. And then once that that's recon is approved, it goes over to the House. Now, let's go over what you need to know about the bill. This is so critical. This is so critical. If you've been with me for a while, you know what I'm going to say, and you know what we've seen before. When we sit here now at a noontime, live on air, we don't have the recon bill yet. So we have an emoji for this, not bill yet. But when the bill is debuted, we have another emoji for this, not law yet. You've seen with just the eviction moratorium this week, how things get changed in Congress by the day. So when you see the recon, just like when you heard the president on Monday saying, I'm not doing your eviction moratorium, tough luck, I'm not doing it. You do not roll over and say, that's the end, because that's not the end. In fact, the Democrats have said they're modifying it. Wow, incredible, great news. Why is this? Why are Democrats modifying Democrats? Strangely enough, subcommittee members of the House that have been working on the recon are very few people. And the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats have said, you know what? I'm an elected official. I want to have my hands on it. I want to make changes. I've had no opportunity to make changes. I'm going to make changes. Wow, that's great news for us. If the recon does not have something in there, if it's imperfect, if it needs to be changed, it will be changed by those Democratic senators and those Democratic House members. They can both change it. Then you're also going to get a firing squad of amendments from the GOP in the Senate. Not much of a worry, expected to happen, but that is where things are. If you were with me in second stimulus and in third stimulus, we've had many a day where we started with something not in there, then bigger, then smaller, then broader, then narrower. So you have to push Purple Power down to the finish line. Finally, I think the eviction moratorium is the best example of how things start and how things change. Started the week with nothing, no eviction moratorium. No one was helping us. No one, but do we sit back and do nothing? No. Did Nancy and AOC and Jalapal sit back and do nothing? No. They pushed just like the Purple Power Spirit. They wrote letters, they called, they pushed, they said, this is wrong, you have to extend it. What did Representative Bush do? She sat on Capitol Hill night after night pushing. She didn't sit back and say, see, I told you you're never going to get an eviction moratorium for this president. I told you weren't going to get it. No, she didn't do that. She told him, you're doing this wrong. You're wrong, sir. You put the eviction moratorium in there. And she got it. St. Louis Spirit at its finest. She got it, and the eviction moratorium ends this week, protecting us all. And there you go. Coming up next is Afternoons LA at 1 p.m. This video will automatically take you there. Don't lift a finger. It'll automatically take you there within 7 seconds after this video is over. Then coming up is a new Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock and then a new Evenings LA at 5. Followed by Overnight's Crypto and Sirloin tonight at 8 o'clock. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to like the video. Every like helps and improves the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member so you can get $5, $10, $15, $20,000 money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, and upwards of $50,000 like Mark II. Congratulations. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful noontime, and I'll see you next on Afternoons LA coming up in just a few minutes.